Hello and welcome everyone again to another video. And today's video I will be talking about the top teams in the Open Ultra League Season 18. Yes, I did I think part 1 and part 2, and this is going to be like a shorter version where like I don't go in like full in-depth like 25 minutes video about Ultra League. No, it's going to be around 10 minutes, but like I'm just going to go through like the best Pokemons, the best performing teams, the top teams, and some meta teams. So Open Ultra League is basically 2500 CP, and these are the most dominant 5-6 Pokemons. So if you play this league, you will see those the most. I mean, you could say that Talonflame is very popular here at this MMR and this MMR, but those 5 are like the most dominant 5 in the entire league. Something to mention, good leads. Talonflame is back, to be honest, in the meta, because people are just using Reggie with Poliwrath, and both of those do not want to see Talonflame. So the Talonflame making a comeback was actually expected. You could also say the same for the Charizard. Annihilate is just everywhere. I wouldn't say everywhere, because technically Poliwrath tend to do better in blind format, because so many Pokemons can counter Annihilate, but not that many can counter Poliwrath because it has a Scald and Icy Wind. Feraligatr is insanely good of a Pokemon. It's not as solid in the 2 shield, but to be honest, it has a play against everything. I prefer the Shadow in the Ultra League for one matchup, which is Cresselia. If you land the Crunch, you could fully farm all the way down, like from full HP, to be honest. Don't run Ice Beam, please. I know Home Slice Henry told everyone to run Ice Beam. I say, don't listen to Henry, and this time. You listen to Henry every other time, okay? Every time, except this one. Run Crunch. Crunch is better. Especially if people are using Jellicent, Giratina. Well, technically both is super effective, but with Crunch, you have a chance to debuff, and you have a chance to debuff Cresselia. If you debuff the Cresselia, it makes the farm down way easier, as literally they die before getting to the second Monoblast if you get a debuff. Something to mention here on the safe swap, Greedent is still the most annoying, the most obnoxious Pokemon in the entire Ultra League. This Pokemon is just so stupid and so strong, okay? So if you have Greedent, totally recommend to build, because this Pokemon won't get nerfed. Like, the meta won't be like more, will never have more fighters than it is right now. It has Virizion, Registeel, Poliwrath, and Annihilate. There is literally technically 4 fighters in this meta, and Greedent's still everywhere. That's because Greedent is just insanely good. So good, okay? Something to mention in the generalist, like the most dominant 4 here, like Reggie, Giratina, Cresselia, Poliwrath, and Mandibuzz is making a comeback. Why Mandibuzz is making a comeback? Because of 3 Pokemons. Feraligatr, Annihilate, Poliwrath. And Mandibuzz is technically one of those one of the few Pokemons that can have a play against all of these, beside Giratina and Cresselia. So these Pokemons are all good. Whichever you have of these, you should be using. But I will be talking like more in depth about the top performance. What are the top performance? Those Pokemons tend to perform the best among the condensed meta, according to PvPoke. The king of the meta is supposed to be Guzzlord, but people don't use Guzzlord, which is understandable. Like, why would you use Guzzlord when everyone's running Registeel, Poliwrath, Annihilate, Cresselia, right? It makes sense. But if people don't have those 5, you destroy everything else. So that's like the thing. Same for Mandibuzz. Like, just dodge Registeel. Like, you literally don't care about Annihilate, because most of the Annihilates are Night/Shadow Ball, because Ice Beam and Annihilates just make it very underwhelming. Lantern, as much as I hate to say it, is extremely good, and just because of 2 Pokemons. It's so good because of Tenta and Poliwrath. Tenta and Poliwrath are literally everywhere. Like, everywhere. And the only Pokemon that can destroy both of these is literally Lantern. Feraligatr is insanely good. Again, like one of the best safe swaps in the current meta. People are using it to bait out the electric Pokemon, because I myself use Ampharos in the meta, because Ampharos tend to do good against Giratina, Cresselia, Poliwrath, and Feraligatr. The issue with Ampharos into Feraligatr still get 2 moves, and you outpace the Ampharos enough to pressure them. Like, you will leave the matchup with advantage. So these are like the top performing Pokemons. Now, what are the top performing teams? Any of these teams is extremely good, okay? And the most annoying one is like one that I was struggling against myself, which is Reggie, Feraligator, and Annihilate. If you guys know my team was basically Guzzlord, Cresselia, and Virizion in the back. And Registeel beats all of these. Feraligator can beat all of these. Annihilate can beat all of these as well. So this is a team I hate because I'm just weak to all of these. If you don't have Annihilate, if you, let's say, not as high MMR, I'm not saying it in an offensive way, I mean it as like, if you are like one of the people who always stuck around below expert MMR, don't run Annihilate because it's kind of risky. Just run Giratina instead, you know, like literally run Giratina instead. It will make it more safer of a team. If you are a Guzzlord fan, I'd totally recommend this team, Guzzlord with Tenta. And the third is up to you. I recommend something like Virizion or Talonflame, just in case people are using A slash, because if they are using A slash, you need a hard A slash answer. If you like get like some A slashes here. But if you hate A slash, this team is totally good against A slash. If you see an A slash lead, you just go for Alligator, and later in the game you have the Alligator for it. I call this team the tentacle double alligators. Okay, we see 2 tentacles here and double alligators. So this is for like wildlife people who like these animals. I recommend this team. This is a very meta team, and it's a totally, I call it budget. It's not budget technically. It's a very accessible team. If you played Talonflame Community Day, if you played like Spotlight Hour for Scovet, and if you played with Virizion, because Virizion doesn't care about IVs. So these are like the top performing teams, but these are not meta teams. Usually top performing teams are teams that are good at high MMR, but below, let's say, legend MMR. Like top performing teams are good above legend MMR, but below legend MMR, just run meta teams. What are meta teams? Teams that are not ABA, or ABB. Team are what I call them ABC, balanced teams. There's a safe swap, there is a closer, and there is a lead. As an example, we have Registeel. You have Registeel to get the shields down. You have Feraligator as a safe swap. You have Skeletor as a counter swap. Whenever they swap, whatever they swap in is something that takes super effective from not Feraligator, Alligator. What's the name? Skeletor. Yeah, Skeletor. Poliwrath is technically annoying, but to be honest, you could replace one of those two with Poliwrath. You could literally do that, and I recommend replacing Skeletor with Poliwrath. With the Jellicent, or even what's his name, Golisopod. I myself tend to, I'm a Shadow Dragonite fan. If you guys watch the channel, you know how much I love this Pokemon, so I would like to run Dragonite with Jellicent or Feraligator. Okay, either. Feraligator is technically a faster version of Jellicent, with the exception that you lose to Poliwrath and Registeel in the back. So you use this to bait out the Poliwrath, so Registeel will be safe in the back. You could also do the opposite. You can just literally safe swap Registeel. I think Matt Beer hit legend with a team like this. It was Clefable, Tentacruel, and Lantern, and then he changed the Clefable into Talonflame. So it was like this with Talonflame in the lead and Lantern. This is not my new season team. This is what I call it, the Matt Beer team, the team he hit legend. There is literally a video on the channel, Matt Beer hit legend in the Ultra League. You could look it up. It's a 3 non-legendary Pokemons. If you guys watch the channel, you know how much content I made about this team. You could literally use this Pokemon with either of this swap or this in the back. If you like to run Gliscor is extremely underrated of a Pokemon. Yes, the nerf to EQ hurt it a lot, but it's still a decent Pokemon, so don't sleep on it. No Alligator. If you guys hate Alligator, you need a team that destroys Alligator. I recommend this team, Lantern, with Virizion and a Greedent in the back. So usually you use Greedent to bait out the Talonflame in the back, the Charizard in the back, and then you kill them with Lantern and whatever they have in the back. You should beat with Virizion. So again, Greedent is the Cresselia Giratina answer. You could run this team instead if you don't have a Lantern. So remember this team, if you don't have Lantern, just use Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini may not be as good, but remember Tapu Fini is coming back to the raids with its signature move Nature Madness, so do not sleep on that, okay? think of it, think twice, think 3 times about it. I think it might be better now slightly. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video. If you guys like this video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. See you in the next video. Peace.